I'll be presenting on a big data-driven system to improve residential irrigation efficiency using machine learning and AI. So as many of you may know, California has been in a severe drought for decades now. And while there has been many efforts to improve like water conservation, it's mostly done on a city level on things like watering your lawns on certain days or telling residents to conserve as much water while washing dishes and whatnot. But one of the ways water is most wasted commonly is through sprinklers and irrigation systems and people not watering efficiently. So the solution to this is smart irrigation, which is a system that recommends users the best time to water their lawns. And yeah, so the main control system of the main control system is a Raspberry Pi that has a temperature and humidity sensor that checks the temperature and humidity of your lawn or whatever you want to control. And then it sends the info to a Firebase database, which connects to a mobile app we developed with Flutter. And it also uses data analysis using machine learning and AI to find the best times to water your lawn. So we used data from LA from 2013 to 2020 to train the AI machine learning. And then as you can see, we have like the humidity changes in one day and the average humidity across the year in LA. And then same with temperature. And then we can also see the average temperature in LA by the month. And then some features of the mobile Flutter app we developed is here we have a login page for the user to connect to their Raspberry Pi. And we take live readings from the humidity and temperature sensor on the Raspberry Pi, and then we send it to the Firebase database, and then we can read it live here for the user to see. And then also it uses the machine learning to find the best time and suggest the user to water their lawn at the best time to get the most efficient watering. So some similar works, an automated irrigation system was made that uses an Arduino to monitor water dampness and a water tank level. And then when it sees the plants or lawn, it's not damp enough, then it'll water more. And then you can tell when you have to refill a tank more. And then in another paper written by these people, they proposed to use a Raspberry Pi to control a solenoid valve that'll control their irrigation, so it's completely automatic and independent of users, residents. So some future development. Right now, the temperature and humidity historical data is limited to LA. So one way to improve this would be by taking in other major cities from across America and the world. And this would allow the machine learning to be more accurate and more applicable to places other than LA. And then another way to improve this would be to use an Arduino. So right now, it's pretty much running one program or one function, and a Raspberry Pi, which is sort of like a mini computer, is not needed to just run one program. So an Arduino would be a good use for this. And then, so the conclusion is the system is good because there's very few components required. All it needs is a Raspberry Pi and a temperature and humidity sensor. And then everything else will be done online. And then it's really efficient at water conservation. So it lets residents take in like saving water into their own hands and not just up to the city. And it's also very cost efficient when you're saving water. Yeah, that's the end of my presentation. Does anyone have any questions?